Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're going to focus on the beauty industry, and while focus on the beauty industry, we are specifically going to discuss the trends in the beauty industry which we have seen so far in 2024. So let's get started. The first and foremost thing that we wanted to discuss with you, and the reason why we made this video altogether, is because we are seeing a beauty pivot. Luxury brands are redefining their focus, and a lot of major players, for example, Kering and Richemont, are redefining their business strategies, specifically with respect to the beauty sector, and they are increasingly internalizing their beauty operations. We have also seen the sector's growth, resilience, and high margins have attracted a lot of investment from a lot of major players, and we have seen players like Kering with its acquisition of Creed in October 2023. LVMH already has a very unique position because of uh, its sub brand of Sephora and its domination in the beauty industry. We have players like Puig, which acquired Byredo in 2022 and acquired a major stake in Dr. Barbara Sturm. Also, remember Charlotte Tilbury with respect to Puig's acquisitions. Next, what we wanted to discuss was the fact that Dior did a fusion of beauty and jewelry with Charlize Theron as a joint ambassador of both its beauty division as well as its jewelry division. Now, what this does is that it leverages Theron's long-standing relationship with the brand. It signals a broader trend in the luxury market by focusing jewelry and beauty both as key areas. Now, customers do tend to prioritize spending on goods that offer them not just aesthetic pleasure but also a sense of practical investment. And in these times, especially with the changing economic conditions and the outlook for the luxury industry in general for the rest of the year, Dior's emphasis on jewelry and beauty product taps into this customer references effectively, and it ensures that the brand remains relevant and cherished even when the market conditions actually fluctuate. This leads us to private equity in beauty. Wherever you see strong growth, you will see private equity also. We discussed LVMH has a very unique position because it owns Sephora. LVMH also has a very unique position because it owns L Catterton, which is a private equity firm backed by LVMH. It has already made a lot of investment in the beauty sector, for example, in the Honest Company, in LMS, in the Chinese beauty company of Marubi. Al Catterton has shown a very consistent commitment to the beauty segment within the luxury industry. And what it did recently was that it launched an Elevate Beauty Fund, which specifically targets early stage companies in the beauty sector, and it favors deals ranging from 2 million to 15 million. This brings us to IPOs. Puig went for an IPO this year, and it went public in a record-breaking European IPO. To give you a little bit of background, Puig operates in 32 countries, it owns 17 brands, and it has over 4.3 billion euros in net revenues last year, primarily from either its fully or majority owned brands. Now, Puig's IPO became the largest in Europe in 2024 and the most substantial in Spain since 2015, and it raised a monumental 2.6 billion euros for the founding family. To give you a context, now this raising of 2.6 billion euros gave Puig a valuation of an impressive 13.9 billion euros. So from luxury beauty, let's move on to prestige beauty and mass beauty sectors. What we have seen is that prestige beauty is soaring as mass beauty market is stagnating in the first half of 2024. So the overall beauty market is currently valued at 15.3 billion, and the prestige sector has experienced a growth of about 8%. Now, you are seeing growth both in prestige beauty and mass beauty, but the mass beauty growth is mainly because of the increase in prices, not because of increase in unit sales. And in contrast, all the categories within the prestige market, whether it's fragrance, whether it's hair, skin, or makeup, they're all growing, and we have shown how much they are growing, and the respective figures are 12%, 10%, 7%, and 5%. This brings us to mergers and acquisitions. again. So investment trends spotlight on Summer Fridays. Now, Summer Fridays is a beauty brand which was launched in 2018, and it recently reached revenues of about 100 million, which kind of piqued interest within the private equity community. And we saw TSG Consumer Partners, which also have a notable history within the beauty sector. They invested in the brand, and now, although they are a major partner, the founders also have a majority stake, though we do not know exactly how much and for how much the TSG partners actually invested. So the valuation kind of remains a little bit of hazy out here, but we do know that there is acquisitions that are happening also. And this brings us to the embracing of Amazon of premium beauty sector. What we have seen is that this relationship between fashion and beauty brands and the e-commerce giant is evolving. In 2020, Amazon made a strategic move to attract luxury brands with the launch of Luxury Stores division. It had mixed success because a lot of brands did not want to integrate and be available both on Amazon and their direct websites. But there were pilots that were initiated. For example, Coach initiated a pilot in 2020, and it was a success with the digitally savvy younger demographic. But what we have seen recently is companies which are struggling, especially the larger conglomerates which are struggling. They are now very open to adapting and being available on Amazon also. And we have seen companies like Estee Lauder launch a couple of their brands, for example, Clinique, which they launched on Amazon in 2023. And what they saw was that it did help them exceed the sales uh, far more than what their expectations were. And this did suggest that this is a successful channel for diversification. And we'll see more of brands from these bigger companies like Estee Lauder be available on Amazon Premium Beauty. This brings us to conclusion. So what can be said is that there is a recalibration of the growth expectations, which has sparked a broader reassessment on the whole beauty sector. To give you an example, L'Oreal recently adjusted the forecast of its global beauty market growth, setting it between 4.5% and 5% for this year, which is a slight decline from the previously anticipated growth of about 5%. And when we're talking about the merger and acquisitions arena, although we did give you examples of the merger and acquisitions, but still what we are seeing is the beauty sector is witnessing a divergence in this, especially between the color cosmetics and skincare. So while several makeup brands like Glossier and Rare Beauty have struggled to find transaction success amid this very crowded market, we have seen new players, especially in the skincare, which have seen promising developments, and Summer Fridays was definitely an example of the same. So that's all that we have for you in this video. Hope you did enjoy this beauty roundup of what we brought for you for the 2024 trends of beauty that we are seeing, especially all the sectors that were covered: luxury beauty, premium beauty, mass beauty sector. And do watch our other videos on the channel, and do stay tuned in for more, and also connect with me on pallavisehgal.com. Thank you.